What if I told you that retirement is a myth? A dream cooked up, designed to keep you stuck in the grind for like 40 or 50 years. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you why retirement is a concept that is being retired itself by millions of people. And I'm also going to show you a better way to build security and purpose into your life so that you can feel more freedom. When I was 23, I had done everything that I thought I should do to that point to be successful. I'd gone through university, I had a good job, I had a company car, but I was seriously unhappy. The stress of the job, playing the corporate game, the idea of working for the man for like another 40 years and then perhaps retiring, maybe with my health, I don't know. The whole concept of it just didn't appeal to me. So I ended up chucking it in. To be honest, it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but I decided that I would just travel around the world, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my story at the end, how it turned out. But first, I just want to show you some of the assumptions we're making in retirement or about retirement that are completely wrong. Let's jump into my computer and I'll show you what I mean. So the first assumption is that I'll be fine financially. And on the left-hand side, we've got here essentially what a lot of retirement planners tell you that you'll need to do in terms of recommended savings. So if you're age 30, for example, 1 year of your annual salary, age 60, 8 times your annual salary, and in retirement 10 times. I prefer the 4% rule because it's just a far better way to figure out exactly how much you're going to need in retirement, because it takes into account lots of different things that you can't take into account something this simplistic. But just for the purposes of this video, perhaps work out what you'll need for retirement. Now let's have a look at what people have actually got in terms of retirement. Under 35, they've got zero, and that was the case for myself as well. But as people are getting older, they're still not saving anywhere near enough for retirement. And I've got the average and the median here. The average takes into account everybody, which includes Bill Gates and everybody else who makes lots and lots of money. Whereas the median explains what the real person is saving. And I've got a little median chart here that sort of shows what I mean. If you added all these up and divided it by 7, you'd get a different number to 6. But in fact, the median is 6 here. So yeah, I hope that explains why median is a better measure. Unfortunately, it's lower. So a lot of Americans and Aussies and Kiwis and Canadians and Brits, we're all hoping that things like the Social Security is going to save us. Well, unfortunately, Social Security is running out of money and they just haven't planned well enough. And in 2033, there is, according to this report, which is a government report, going to be only 79% of scheduled benefits. And those benefits aren't huge. On the right hand side here, I've got the amount that you'll be earning on a monthly basis, 1,783, and on an annual basis, that's 21,000 roughly, which if we go back to what you need to earn, it's not a lot. But a lot of people are relying on it, and so we've got to talk about it. The problem, of course, is that we're all living longer, and here's the global averages. And if you live in a country and you're healthy, then you can probably expect to live far longer than these ones. And I've got some global projections over here. So each year we actually are living longer, but this is the global averages, like I said. And if you are a healthy person, living well into your 80s and potentially even becoming 100 years old, like I hope to, is very, very possible. So the fourth assumption is healthcare costs. A lot of people think that they're sky high, but the reality is that they are set to increase even more than inflation. And here's what healthcare costs are as we age, and they increase as you age. I don't know what happens when you get to 75. I assume it's even greater. 85, I can't even imagine. And here I've got projected costs based on a 5% annual increase. So if we consider that the average person is earning, 20 odd thousand from Social Security and however much savings they've got, I think we've got a big problem. So here's the big problems. And not enough for retirement, Social Security, living longer, and healthcare costs are rising. But now I'm starting to work in the solution a little bit here, because lots of Americans, Aussies, everybody else, the studies show that we're basically unhappy in our work. And I think this is potentially part of the solution. And many retirees are actually doing what I like to call unretiring, which is essentially they are leaving their retirement to go back into the workforce, and they're finding purpose, and they're finding that they don't need to worry about inflation so much because they can pay for their goods and services, and they're also back in community with other people doing something meaningful. And I got AI to draw me a picture of the Macca's in Moab, because I was there last year, and I was kind of blown away because on the sign out the front, instead of saying 30 billion served or whatever they say, it said hiring $17 to $19 per hour. I was blown away, and that for me was incredible, because that is a huge amount of money for somebody flipping burgers from what I can figure out. And it just really showed me that inflation is completely out of control, and I don't think that we've got it under control yet. I think that inflation could be yet another issue. So we've got this perfect storm, but when there's a massive perfect storm, there's also a massive perfect opportunity, and that is what I'm going to show you next. The thing is, if we are working in jobs that we don't like, and we're not going to have enough for retirement, then I really believe that the best thing we can do is to find work that we enjoy right now. And I've got a great little quote here from Joseph Campbell, who wrote The Hero's Journey. And he says, "The privilege of a lifetime is being who you are." And I think being who you are is just the absolute pinnacle of being able to enjoy your work, enjoy your life. I don't think for a moment that it's easy to achieve, but it is possible, and I do feel like it's something we should pursue. This guy, Joseph Campbell, by the way, he's the guy that inspired George Lucas to write Star Wars in the way that he did. And so he's an incredible human being in the way that he is able to structure stories and teach others to structure stories. And I'm actually just getting this book from the library, so I'll let you know how that goes. Instead of retiring from work, I really believe we need to focus on doing the work that we enjoy now, regardless of our age. So if you're in the situation where you're like 20 or 30 and you're like, I'll just grind this out because I'm making great money, well, I hope you can see that the reality in the future, even if you do end up having enough money, is that you're gonna not be happy, because you're gonna want more purpose and potentially want to go and work anyway. So the time is right to work now in what you enjoy. And if you're older, perhaps you're wanting to retire right now, well, you really don't have a lot of choice, in my opinion. You may as well start enjoying life, and you have to work anyway. So that's the way it is, guys. But I think it's a good solution. I think rather than thinking that we need to be unhappy in our work, let's find ways to be happy in our work. And and let's make money so that we are in a situation where we don't need to retire, but also in a situation where we've got enough savings that if we do retire or do want to retire, that we can financially, so that we can do other things. Doing work you enjoy just makes you happy, and possibly more money too. Work becomes a source of fulfillment and integration into your community. This is something that I've really discovered lately. For me, I've been able to find peace in my life in terms of my work and joy through this YouTube channel, funny enough. I get an enormous amount of purpose and joy through this YouTube channel. And if you check out my last video on how many Bitcoins you need to have to retire, you'll see there's a lot of comments in there that aren't necessarily positive, but I really enjoyed engaging with people that were even a lot negative on what I had to say there. But I really appreciate everything you've got to say, so please leave your comments below, guys, because this is essentially my community. This is essentially the meaning that I give to my work. I still have other work that makes me passive income and other work that's not so passive, but this is so meaningful and so enjoyable, and I can easily see it working for me in the future. Find your passion. And enjoyment means that you're probably going to end up living longer and being more healthier. So going back to this big problem that we've got here, it's actually potentially a solution in disguise. And the solution in disguise is doing the work you enjoy so that you don't need to retire. But also, I fully believe in saving and investing for freedom, not for retirement. So that one day, if you feel like, yep, I just don't want to work for money anymore, that's not going to be a problem. You don't have to just rely on Social Security or whatever else. And financial stress is a major cause of anxiety, let's face it. Like, it's also a major reason why couples fight. And so I really feel like getting your savings and investments under control is one of the greatest things that we can learn how to do. Unfortunately, I don't know why they don't teach it in schools, but the reality is that we really need to learn it. And people with adequate savings feel more confident about managing unexpected expenses or healthcare costs. Also, people with sufficient money are more likely to engage in volunteer work, part-time passion projects, or travel, and that provides purpose and social connection as well. So putting it all together, guys, saving and investing for freedom, not retirement. It doesn't matter what age you start, but obviously the sooner you start, the better, due to the nature of compounding and also just the fact that you're going to be happier. Finding your passion, not your purpose. I feel like trying to find your purpose is just really too hard, and finding your passion is something you can relatively easily do, and you can potentially turn it into a side project like I'm doing with this channel, and it just adds so much purpose and love and joy to your life in general that it's just really well worth doing. So just start doing more of your passion and perhaps turn it into a business, or find a business where you can also find joy, or start figuring out how to create passive income. That's partially what this channel is about. I'm big on passive income. It's been a huge focus for me and my life, and I really want for you what you want out of life. So guys, I really hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to your comments. I really do, and I look forward to your likes as well, because it really helps the channel. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers, guys.